Every Monday, I like to spend a few minutes breaking down what really matters in the San Antonio, Boerne, and Texas Hill Country real estate markets. And I put together the Monday morning market brief. In these reports, we'll cover mortgages, inventory, pricing trends, new home builder incentives, and we'll talk about land and luxury a little bit too. So let's dive right in.
Okay, let's go.
Good morning, everybody. Here is your Monday market brief for August the 24th, 2026. And this week, I think there's one big story, and that is that buyers are gaining leverage. So let's start with San Antonio first. San Antonio July home sales fell about 12.6% compared with last year, and homes are now averaging about 87 days on the market. Inventory has moved to about 6 months. Now, before anybody hears that and thinks the sky is falling, it isn't. The median sales price in San Antonio actually increased about 3.3% year over year to roughly $320,000, so that's a good thing. What we're seeing isn't necessarily collapsing values. What we're seeing is more choices and less competition for buyers. That means buyers have considerably more room to negotiate on price, repairs, closing costs, and other terms. Now, let's talk about here in Boerne and Kendall County. It's a little bit different. The latest figures put the median sales price around $590,000, which is still slightly higher than a year ago. And again, I want to stress, because these two markets are very different. San Antonio's July median sales price was only about $320,000, which is up, as I said, roughly 3% from last year. But here in Boerne, July's median sales price was approximately $590,000, with an average sales price of around $692,000. Now, there was 129 transactions, and properties stayed on the market an average of about 60 days here in the Boerne and Kendall County area. Now, I always caution people about applying broad San Antonio statistics directly to Boerne, or especially to land, ranch, and luxury properties. Let's talk about mortgage rates for a second. Freddie Mac's latest average for a 30-year fixed mortgage is 6.65%, which is down slightly from 6.67% last week. I realize that's not a huge move, but you combine a slightly better rate with more inventory and a seller who's willing to negotiate, and suddenly the numbers can start looking quite a bit different for a buyer. Now, that brings me to land and acreage. Folks, if you're shopping for hill country land, please don't make the mistake of evaluating everything by price per acre. That is not the model that developers or sellers use. They're going to look at water, views, topography, access, restrictions, improvements, development potential, the shape of the lot, the proximity to highways. All of these things are drivers that can determine why two properties sitting right next to each other are worth very different amounts. So keep that in mind when you're out looking around for land. Hear that people make that mistake a lot of times. It's okay, it happens. The same principle applies to luxury and new construction. They're all going to be different from one another. You can't go by a price per square foot average when it comes to luxury and new construction, because they've all got different features built in. Right now, I would negotiate the whole transaction, not just the price, if you're out there trying to buy a home. There may be opportunities involving rate incentives, closing costs, upgrades, or other concessions that you need to know about, and these are going to put more money in your pocket than simply getting a few $1,000s knocked off the sales price, especially if you're talking to a new home builder right now. Finally, something fun from Boerne this week. We talked about this last week. Boerne's been named one of just 25 finalists in the entire country for the Hallmark Channel's Merriest Christmas Town, and we're the only Texas town in the finals. Voting will continue through September the 4th, so get out and vote for Boerne. Let's bring this one home. If you've ever spent Christmas in Boerne, you know what I'm talking about. You're not surprised that we're in the running. And you know, that's part of what I mean when I talk about Boerne lifestyle. People aren't simply buying a house here. They're buying into a community and a way of life. So here's my takeaway this week. Don't confuse a slower market with a bad market. Buyers have opportunities right now that they haven't had in quite some time. Sellers can absolutely still sell, but let me tell you, and let me reiterate this: pricing, presentation, and marketing. Those are your three best friends if you're a seller right now. They really matter now more than ever. If you're considering buying or selling a home, land, or ranch and luxury property here in Boerne or the San Antonio, Texas Hill Country area, give me a call. I'd love to help you out. I've been doing this for almost 30 years, and anything I can do to help you, I'm here to help you. My name is Rackley, Coldwell Banker, D.N. Harper Realtors. We'll see you next Monday.